What's up everyone, my name's Louis and it's my mission to aid your awakening. And in this video, I'm going to discuss signs that you are now moving into a 3D reality. I know a couple of weeks ago I did a video on 5D tips to aid the shift into this new reality. But these are going to be signs that you have already entered into this reality and starting to experience it on this earth. Like I said in that video, 5D is like a new form of consciousness that has recently descended onto the earth. It is a higher form and higher level of reality. Now, I think the people, and I don't claim to be living in 5D, and I think there are very few people that have access to this on a regular basis. But I do believe there's a lot of people that are starting to see and get tastings of this 5D reality that is coming down and starting to sort of move more into that space. Because what I think is natural is that we move in between the 5D, the 4D, and the 3D, which is most of the world currently resides in, the physical. So we're going to move between these levels of dimension, but I think the more we progress through our awakening process, and the more as the earth begins to change, the more light that comes down onto the planet, thanks to people like you who are accessing this high level of vibrational reality, that we are going to see more and more of it. So these are key, also, like I said, beneficial signs that you are experiencing 5D. Let's get into it. So the first sign is a massive one, and that is a deeper level of introspection. Now, this is going to be normal. You're going to experience a much deeper level of introspection wherever you are in your awakening process, and there can be a time where it's very debilitating, where you're experiencing such a deep level of introspection that you can't really think straight, and everything seems to be constantly reflecting on you, and that's there for a reason. But once you've progressed for a bit and you've cleared some of these emotional blockages, because it's natural to go down for a bit in time in terms of your overall state before you start to ascend and get these downloads. Once you become open to receiving downloads, you'll start moving up. And one of the clear signs that you're moving up is, like I said, everything's a reflection of you. You're going to start seeing things like a mirror, and you're going to develop an introspection to be able to be aware of things and see, for example, why things are showing up in your reality for a reason. You're starting to access this idea that there are no coincidences. Everything is sort of happening to show you a lesson, to teach us things that we came here on this planet to learn. So you're going to start experiencing things such as, one of the key things that made me realize things is that I started to understand when things weren't necessarily about me, they're about something trying to show me something. So, for example, when I was back in university, I had friends, I met with people that would sort of trigger me, and I'd get upset with them, and maybe I'd have certain experiences, romantic experiences with girls, friendship with girls and guys, whoever, and I would get triggered, or they'd upset me somehow, and I'd dwell on it, and for some reason I'd start doing the sort of lower consciousness thing of thinking about them a lot and thinking, oh, why did they do this, and them having certain traits that I really disliked. And I started thinking, I don't want to be like that. I really dislike that trait about them. But I went a level deeper and I started questioning my thoughts, which is so key. Once you start to become more of a conscious being, start questioning why you're having these thoughts. And particularly if you're having quite an emotional it's triggered you on quite an emotional level. You start questioning that. And I realized that the reason I wasn't liking these people is because particularly their traits they had, was because I disliked that part of myself. So this was the reason. This is almost like their job was to trigger me in this way. I don't mean their job. They done it completely unaware. It was completely unaware to them. But it's almost like I had this reaction to take my this reaction happens so I become conscious of it. So it happens so I become aware of it and begin questioning it. I can shine my light of consciousness onto this issue and then resolve that these traits that they had, their judgmental nature, they're quick to be sort of aggressive, they're very opinionated. These are all things I actually had about myself. These are things I was carrying with me and things that I needed to work on myself. I need to work on the fact that I was very quick to judge people and very dismissive at times, like they were to me. But the reason I disliked them so much for that was because I had that within me, and that needed fixing. So you have this deeper level of introspection where you can see everything as a mirror, and it's happening for you. It's not happening against you. No one's picking on you, and you're not the little you. It's all happening. We're all helping each other. We're all making each other much more aware. And that's the importance of relationships. You explore the emotional states. It's about exploring your own emotions and finding out more about yourself while you're with someone? How many times have you come away from, someone, be it good or bad, knowing, oh, I really, like this about myself, or you think, I really, don't like that person, I don't want to be like that. You learn so much by having relationships with others. So don't blame them, don't look upon them don't look upon them negatively. Focus on yourself and change that within yourself, which needs changing. And if, once you fix that, you still want to let go of them, it's completely your discretion. So the next one is space of awareness within ourselves. So when I say space of awareness, because everything is we're becoming much more aware in our reality. As we wake up, you'll see that your space of consciousness, your space of perspective, your, sensual perspective would have opened up massively. And like they say, the external is a reflection of the internal. So not only is your external space opening up, you're becoming aware of more stuff sensually, and through the eyes, through the sounds, you're becoming more sensitive. You're also becoming more open and sensitive within yourself. It's like it does the same internally as well. And when I say space of awareness, I don't mean there's a big space inside us, but there almost is. There almost is a space that we can access. So there's many different layers to us. There's our physical, there's our emotional layer, there's our mental layer, our energy body. There's many different layers to ourselves, and our energy body will open up at this time so we can access and align ourselves with higher energies which run at a faster frequency. Therein we need a bigger space of awareness within ourselves to access these higher levels of consciousness. So when you come into the 3D consciousness, you'll have to be opened up very much inside yourself. Now the good thing about this space of awareness is that you're becoming aware of things within yourself much more. So you're becoming aware of your own emotional and mental capital. So there's one thing, they say money's finite, but really the more finite resource is your time and your emotional energy and your mental bandwidth. Once you become aware of the different states you're accessing, how much, being emotional in a negative sense taxes you, how much extra energy you get being happy and being positive and being grateful gives you, you'll start to align yourself with moving towards those energies. And this extra awareness will help you put up more boundaries against, not being aggressive, not getting angry. Instead of having the reaction and giving out your energy, giving it out, you manage to withhold it, and you manage to become aware of it. Okay, this emotional's gone up right now, but I'm not going to react, I'm not going to get mad. You have that space within yourself. So this space of awareness leads on to the other sign, the waking up, which is having much more emotional non-reactivity. You're becoming less emotionally reactive. Now it's always good to release and experience these emotions properly, but you can do it in time where it won't be destructive to people around you and won't affect, whatever you want to feel. The extra awareness makes you aware of this higher vibe that you want to maintain. And you'll want to do anything to maintain this high vibration. So now you're more able to protect it, you put up some more boundaries, and now instead of having that emotional reaction, instead of wasting your energy doing this, and for example, say you're waiting in line somewhere, instead of getting angry at the fact you have to wait in line, you know that your time is a very finite resource. There's not a lot of it. Time is ticking by. How do you want to spend that time? Do you want to spend that time being angry, or do you spend this half an hour of your day doing something else? Maybe just looking, observing, seeing the nature around you, seeing the faces of people that walk by, being at peace with yourself? Or do you want to be angry? Do you want to have a reaction to the fact you've got to, how dare they make you wait in line? It's not right, how dare they? Have that sort of reaction. Maybe have a joke with someone, maybe start a conversation with someone next to you instead of going to your phone. These is things you're becoming more aware of. As a more conscious being tapping into 5D reality, you're going to think, how can I spend my precious mental energy, my precious emotional energy, my precious time? Because that's the real capital that we have, the real most important capital, more so than money. Yeah, so when you have these emotional reactions, instead of reacting to it, instead of, maybe you had that spike of emotion that day, but you can go about more productive methods. You can go and meditate, breathe in, surrender, release that negative emotion, or you could do something else. You could do some bioenergetics, do some yoga, release, shake and release, do some dynamic meditation, jump up and down, bioenergetics, shake out that emotion that's still within you that you didn't express fully yet. So there's different ways of going about it, guys, and ways that are far less taxing to your precious capital. The other sign, guys, you're going to start experiencing lots of synchronicities. Now this comes as a result of 5D reality. Once you access 5D reality, you've already learned how to be more, how to surrender more. You've already learned how to be better at surrendering to higher states, to gaining access to higher states, to being at a more graceful level of being. Now, the flip side of this is that you're more at ease now in surrendering, letting go of your mind, trying to control your life. You're more in the flow of your intuition. You're following your intuition wherever it may take you, and you're following your passion, what makes you joyful, as the way of shedding away your ego layers. Now, what's going to happen as well is you're going to see synchronicities. Once you're in the right direction, you're going to start seeing 1111. Numbers are going to, whatever number that is you focus on and you know is a sign deep down you know it's a sign. Deep down, it doesn't make sense up here, but deep down you know it's a sign. You're going to start seeing that more often. You're going to start seeing things, and you're going to start seeing that reality is a game. Reality is something you can play around with. Reality is constantly giving you messages, and that's why it's great never to always follow your intuition, to stay alert, to look around now and see what's happening. I still need to learn to drive. It's one of the things I haven't sorted out in my life yet, and as I was staring outside, I used to have driving lessons with a company called Red. They used to do driving lessons, and the other day when I was at my dad's house, I looked outside. I was appreciating this Ferrari that was parked outside, and I'd even seen the Ferrari the day before, that same one by the looks of it, because it was around the same area. So I was appreciating that, and the second I was thinking about, it'd be nice to drive, I see one of those red cars roll past it, stop directly behind it, parallel to it, a traffic light. And I knew that's a sign I've got to start the driving lessons again with that same school, because they do it for a good price. There are so many examples, and I should have written more down for this book, to be honest. I should have written more down, but it's always when I have that thought, I was like, I make my mind up, I look up, and I see the number 11, or I see a number 22 or 33. They're usually the powerful numbers that I always see. And we've all got our own way about this, guys. We've all got our own way. We think of something, it comes up, but look around, like talk to people. Remember what they say. Remember what people bring up in conversation, because these are little hints that are taking you somewhere. I've been very set on a goal before, but I never expected to be traveling to Japan. I never expected to meet someone and go out with them to Thailand the year after. Things just happen, and they're amazing, and they put you on that path. It's one step at a time. It's great to have goals set in the future. Believe me, I do. But I also still pay attention to the signs. They're all around. They're telling me what I need to do next. It's an amazing way to live. It's an exciting way to live as well. It doesn't suffocate life. It keeps you fresh. So in regards to that, I'm going to read a passage out of the most life-changing book I've ever read. This is Frederick Dodson, Levels of Energy. And he discusses the energy scale in terms of 0 to 1,000. 1,000 is the pinnacle of vibration, which no one's ever really achieved. It's complete enlightenment. And 500 is the realm of where most people can access a few times during their life. You can access 500, this feeling of love. You go above it when you give birth to a child and you feel the unconditional love you have for the baby. You can experience 500 when you go on to induce states like DMT, like when you take an ecstasy, you temporarily experience above 500, that feeling of love, but you also come back down. The level of ecstasy is actually quite low vibrationally, and you're going to be worse off afterwards. But these are sort of examples of how you can reach this state. But once you work on raising your vibration, if you do this across your lifetime, you'll be able to glimpse and experience fairly often these 500 states. And he talks about how people above the level of 500 experience reality. And I think it's an amazing quote, and I'll just read it out for you now. It's in regards to synchronicities. He says, "The 500s will recognize and perceive events in a different way than all other levels below. This is not too easy to express in words, but could be described as a synchronicity matrix. The 505 is walking down the street and bikers passing by. For all levels below, these are just bikers and have no significance or meaning beyond the fact that they simply be happening to ride their bikes. For the 505, it is different. Nothing happens coincidentally, nothing is meaningless, everything is a miracle and happens for a specific reason. Everything that happens around him is a reflection of who he is being in the moment and time. This sort of heightened appreciation for the bikers will allow him to notice things others will not. One of the bikers is wearing a t-shirt advertising for a local sushi restaurant. How convenient, you were asking yourself this morning about a good place to get sushi. The bikers go along their way, but for you they are the manifestation of a thought you had earlier today. Looking around your current surroundings and asking yourself, what message do these surroundings have for me at this moment? Is touching a 500 level consciousness and understands that the world is a reflection of your mind. Levels under 500 have a distorted sense of how the universe and reality works. They take the present moment for granted, thinking that something is more interesting and is always somewhere in the past or the future. That relief, answers and fun are yet to come, but certainly not here and now. The 505 had an intensified sense of the here and now and can detect patterns, tendencies, and what is going to happen a few seconds before it happens, because he or she is witness to the beautiful unfolding of the universe as it happens. Less identified with the inner control freak of the mind, and more identified with the field of consciousness. that has a better overview of over things the way they really are. So you're open now, and your higher self is calling you to emerge and to connect you to this state. Don't worry if you only taste it, you only experience this flow. The flow comes and goes. This sort of higher state of reality is an honor if you can even glean at it. So just be appreciative of what you have. Be appreciative that you're on this journey. Be appreciative that you're more powerful than you can ever imagine, and certainly way more powerful than this little control freak can ever comprehend. So with that, we are waking up. We are going to access 5D reality in our lifetimes. Like and share the video, guys. With that, we all get blessings, blessings, blessings. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Hope you like this one. Thank you guys so much. Let's get to that 5D level. Blessings.